Hi, you're on the edge with me, Max Keiser. Broadcast to you from sunny downtown Tehran, Iran. Speaking of sunny, the sun powered civilization as an energy force for hundreds of thousands of years, a million years. And then about 100 years ago, the world went on oil, petroleum. Now we find ourselves with an interesting situation. The globe runs on oil, and yet it appears as though oil is running out. Let's go to Boston and talk with Gregor McDonald of Gregor.us, where you can find his monthly newsletter on energy and economics. Gregor, welcome back to On the Edge.
It's great to be back, Max.
Gregor McDonald, let's talk peak oil. The IEA in Paris just released their projections for world oil production by type. We're looking at the chart here. There you see it. Tell us what we're seeing. What is the significance of the IEA projections?
Each year the IEA releases a forecast report that looks ahead about 20 to 25 to 30 years. And it's about a 500 or 600 page report. I've been going through it over the past 5 days. Yeah, there are a number of oddities and surprises in this report that we could talk about at length, but just getting right down to the sort of the big surprise in this forecast is that the IEA, very surprisingly, and I must say rather strangely, has forecasted that the bulk of future oil supply will come from fields not yet discovered or developed. And they've produced a chart in this report that's truly quite eye-opening. I mean, I produce a lot of research for clients. I have friends who produce research for clients. It would be very difficult, if not impossible, for me to try to put a chart like that in front of a client and say, we will gradually drift up in global oil supply over the next 25 years. Oh, by the way, 65% of that oil will come from fields that we don't even know, we haven't even discovered yet. So I think that's the big surprise from this year's report.
Yes, it is. It's a remarkable piece of research it's quite surprising that anyone would let this go unnoticed or not comment on this in a big way. The IEA, who exactly is the IEA? How long have they been around? How credible are they? Are they the industry standard? And who are they?
International Energy Agency is based in Paris. It's funded by OECD countries. Its stated purpose is to helpfully inform Western policymakers on the future outlook for energy supply. But what's become more clear actually in the last 10 years, as we've shifted regimes, as we've shifted from a cheap oil energy era to a high-priced oil era, what's become clear is that the reports from the IEA have become progressively more political, more complex, more confusing, and more obfuscationist. And we've seen, for example, in the last several years, IEA Paris has introduced climate change calculations into their report of future energy supply. Not that we're not all concerned about climate change, but they've introduced an extra layer of complexity to a subject that is already quite difficult for people to get through because of the large scope of which this subject concerns. And so what we've seen actually in the last 5 or 6 or 7 years from IEA is we've seen odd reports like the one that they released last week. We've seen a lot of back and forth types of messaging from the IEA. We've even seen IEA whistleblowers who have reported that the agency has become increasingly political and is trying to tone down any sort of information that would be concerning to the public about the problem, the very real problem that the world faces with oil supply.
What's interesting also is that the Pentagon has been coming out with reports recently warning about peak oil. They don't seem to be shy about calling for this condition to affect the global economy, the end of cheap oil. As you say, it's not the end of all oil, but it's the end of cheap oil, and some would argue that what this means is that the amount of money and the amount of energy it takes to pull a barrel of oil out of the ground is greater than the energy you get from the oil you put out of the ground. So the economics of it are a negative return, and there's oil there, but to get it, you lose money, and you can't make it up on volume, of course, because it's not a dot-com company. It's actual physical stuff. How come the Pentagon seems to be living in a parallel universe?
You actually raise a couple of key issues there, Max. First, we're seeing a kind of encirclement take place around the world where governments from New Zealand to Australia to the United Kingdom to Germany, and in fact, military organizations from the US military to European military organizations are directly confronting the issue of peak oil in a rational, scientific way. And, I have to say, it's sort of ironic, Max. It looks to me that global military organizations are becoming more reality-based. Okay, they're almost like reality-based organizations when it comes to the issue of peak oil, while the political class continues to pump out a message that again is obfuscationist, and downplays a lot of these issues. Of course, you also raised the issue about declining available energy, declining net energy. This is a little bit more of a complex subject, but essentially when you move from an era of cheap oil to an era of expensive oil, you are absolutely moving to less available energy because you're having to use more energy to extract and secure your current energy supply.